Hello, welcome back. We got a video finally. Again, apologies there hasn't been many uploads on YouTube. There's just been the live streams, but I do aim to get one video out per week. This video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be doing a build video on Ghost of Yotei. If you haven't been watching the streams, we've been streaming the entire playthrough on lethal. We died nearly 1,000 times, which was wonderful. But the reason we died so many times was because I don't think we were built for where we were in the story. So if you aren't aware, with Ghost of Yotei, the story works a little bit differently. They essentially open up the map to you. You can track whatever mission you like, and each mission leads to like a new weapon or a new ability, etc. And I believe me and a good few others that came into the stream also went down the wrong route. So we'll get to the build in a minute. The build itself is what I used to get through lethal. I didn't change this build once. Once I got this build, I stuck with it. I just found that it gave too many benefits to the type of way I played the game. So you'll start in this area. And what I would strongly suggest doing is doing everything here. Like all the side quests, all the bounty hunter missions, upgrading your sword, the memories, exploration, all the paintings, all the songs, the White Dye House. I would explore every nook and cranny of this place. And a good new addition to Ghost of Yotei is that you can visit this geezer here. And he will give you treasure maps to locations where you can upgrade your character, and also maybe fox dens, wolf dens, etc. Hot springs also, I believe. So yes, do everything here. Once you've done everything here, including the bounties, which you can find here on the bounty board, go do all of them. You'll get a new bounty. And once you complete the bounty, again, it will be difficult on lethal. I died 90 something times on him just because I wasn't equipped to deal with him. But we got it done anyway because we're double decent. Anyway, you will get the Bounty Master armor. So this armor, if you look on the right hand side, like Tashima, gives you certain perks. So perfect parry and perfect dodge windows are increased by a major amount. This is once it's fully upgraded. But regular parries are disabled, so you cannot regular parry, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because 9 times out of 10 the enemies on this game on lethal are just using the blue attack, the red attack, or trying to disarm you, so that's okay. A perfect parry enables 3 additional counter attacks. So again, this is a big one that I found incredibly useful when I did have it on. So essentially, when you perfect parry a boss, you can then follow up with 3 counter attacks when it was typically just the 1. And then all spirit gains are increased by a massive amount. So if you drink some sake, I think there's also a couple of charms where you can get some spirit back as well. But we won't go into that too much on this one. But the Bounty Master armor is what I went and got, and if you're playing it on lethal, I would strongly suggest going to get this instantly. Get all the bounties done, go get it done. The next thing that I would suggest you do, so what I done was I've done this area, and then I went here. I went to the Ishikari Plain. Now, this was by far the hardest, one of the hardest bosses in the game, because again, I wasn't equipped for it. The lead up to the boss fight was long. I also feel like the story itself was... I won't spoil anything, but what happens before you go here is, once you've done this area, it's a bit of a shock, to be fair. I personally wouldn't do this bit if you're doing it on lethal first. I wouldn't do this bit first. There is some unbelievable armor here, but we'll get to that in a minute. But I wouldn't do this bit first. So if I was starting the game again on lethal, I would start here. I would go and do this area here first. So this is the Kitsune and the brothers. So get the Kitsune and the brothers done first up here. The Kitsune will give you a new weapon, And also, sorry, there's dual katanas down here as well. So you'll have dual katanas here, and then I would strongly suggest going here. And then also going down here, because doing this bit will then unlock this area down here, I believe. But yes, I would strongly suggest doing this part of the map first before you go here. If you are feeling brave, then you can go here, but I would strongly suggest leaving this bit till last, just because the boss fight and also the fight to get into the place is pretty hard. But the other, I guess, tip, which we'll get to in a minute, in terms of like items and stuff like that. Let me just exit quickly. As you can see on Ghost of Tsushima, we have a lot of items here. We've got guns, we've got bombs, bows, of course, like Yotei, not Yotei, Tsushima, sorry. But the ones here are so useful. So what I would suggest people do before they start a mission is rest at a campfire. Just do it. It takes 5 seconds. Just get on your horse, hold left on the D-pad, set up camp. Sometimes you'll have like a shop merchant come up and try and sell you some shit. They'll speak. Craft ammo. Get all your consumables up. You will need everything. You will legitimately need every single thing. This game punishes you when you're not ready. And the amount of times, especially on the boss fight, the last boss fight in particular, I had nothing. I had no throwables, I had no sake, I had nothing. And that was a really tough fight to do without those things. So yeah, always rest up before a mission. That's my strongest bit of advice. Rest up, cook some food, because you'll be able to get some like minor perks or major ones. So get that done. You don't have to sleep or anything like that. But as you can see, the spirit is now filled up. We're restocked on ammo. We'll wait for her to leave. There we go. And I've just sat back down. Brilliant. But as you can see, the spirit is up. We've got all the consumables. So again, big tip. Get ready for your missions. Always rest. I can't stress it enough. The amount of times that I've started a mission not knowing what will be at the end. And really wishing that I did know. The last boss took me a stupid amount of times to do. Because I wasn't... If I had all the dust bombs and stuff like that, it wouldn't have been as bad. But yeah, that's the only thing I can suggest. Is don't blow your load when you're getting through a mission or just before a boss fight. You are able to suspend the duel, but come on, who's suspending duels now? Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Prepare. So you're not gonna suffer like me. I suffered really bad on the last boss fight in particular. It was pretty gnarly, but back to the build itself. So in terms of the map, like I say, get this area completely cleared. You'll be in a good position to go to the other areas and get those missions done, and then go to the Oni. Because again, story-wise, it makes the most sense to me in terms of what happens here. To sort of save that to the middle or last. You will also get this area down here. I won't spoil why. But yeah, again, down here there's more hot springs, bamboo, etc. So yeah, for me personally, if I was going to replant lethal, I'd go here, then I'd go here and here, then I'd go here, then I'd go here. And then lastly down here. Now, to the build itself, throughout the game, you'll get charms, and the charms are upgraded by essentially doing what the charm does, or going to hot springs, bamboo strikes, etc. So the armour we're using is the Armour of Undying. So if the weapon is aligned, staggering enemies restores a major amount of health. So what that means is if you're using a katana against a katana and you stagger them, you'll get a major amount of health. If you're using the dual katana against spears and you stagger, you'll get a massive amount of health, etc. So if the weapon matches what it's supposed to be used against, you get the idea, you get health. Again, the weapon alignment goes throughout the whole thing. So the window to perform perfect parries and perfect dodges are increased by a moderate amount. So again, if you're using the correct weapon against the enemy, your opportunity to perform the parries and dodges are increased. So again, massive help. And then if weapon aligned, focused attacks have a moderate chance to increase stagger damage. So again, any I can't remember the name, but you hold circle and triangle and do like the wind strike or whatever it's called. That's essentially what that does. Again, but if you have weapon alignment, so if you're using that against someone with a spear, it's not going to work. Now, obviously, each weapon does have its own special attack. So you've got the Adachi, you've got the dual katana, you've got the not the kitsune, what's it called? I'm not going to try and pronounce that, but you've got that one. Then you've got the Yari, dual katana, wolf blade, and the Adachi. So those are all your melee weapons, and each one has a special move attached to it. You do have to unlock it, either by purchasing it or doing parts of the quest. So, in terms of the charms, we'll start with the top one. So, parry inflicts a major amount of additional stagger damage. So the reason you want stagger is because, especially on boss fights, they have their health and then they have a white bar above their health. You want that white bar to be broken as often as possible because that allows you to do more damage without being interrupted. So the more you can stagger the enemy, the better, and any additional damage, we're always going to take that. So I use that. And then we've got the Father's Charm. So again, you get this from again, my memory isn't the best, but you can climb Mount Yotei, and there's a lot of loot up there. So I would suggest again getting that done first. So a gift from your father, so your sword flows like a brush stroke. Perfect parries regain a major amount of health. Ideal. Perfect parries and perfect dodges are easier to perform. Again, the window on lethal. I don't know if it's the same for the other difficulties, but lethal's parry window is so small, especially perfect parry. It's ridiculous. So any additional things that we can do to improve that are going to be a bonus. So the Charm of Last Dance. So this one is sort of good and bad. So heal technique triggers automatically when suffering lethal damage from combat. Heal technique costs 1/3 of max spirit. So this one, like, it is good because it saves you sometimes, but it's also bad because sometimes you do just want to like end the run. If you're on a boss fight and you get slapped, and this thing revives you, so well, I don't really want that. The only times it comes in clutch is like towards the end if you've got the boss on like little health. So you could replace this with, maybe this one, this one. What else? That's more good for like ads. Kills animator. The bonus, right? You can have that one as well. So you'll notice a familiar name here as well, I assume. So we got Takezo here. Takezo is the Dueling Tree like boss, and when you defeat each one of them, you get a charm. The charms are pretty good, but I won't spoil what happens with that. The next one we got is Charm of Thoughtful Restoration. So a reflection ripples in the water and the mind gain a major increase to maximum health. So let's look at my health quickly. Look how long that bar is. Look how long that is. That is insane. So if we take that off, so as you can see, it gets to a like right leg. If we take that off, let's have a look how that goes down. It goes down quite a chunk, to be fair. Yeah, it does go down like her whole leg, essentially, if that makes sense, like the width of her leg. And that can sometimes be the difference between life and death. And then the last charm we've got is Charm of Mount Yotei. So reduce all damage taken by a moderate amount. Regain a major amount of health after a perfect parry. So again, we've got a lot of defense and a lot of melee. Because that's what we need on Lethal. Lethal is legitimately, as you all know, one hit, you're gone, really. So yeah, that is the build I used, and then in terms of like your outfits and stuff, I mean, you can wear what you like. I personally really liked the beginning hat because I like the way she like looks through the broken bit in it. I think that's sick. We've got the, again, spoiler, apologies. We've got the ghost mask. I won't tell you how you get that, but that is probably up there with this mask. I do like this one, to be fair, but the build itself has got me through the entire game. If I wasn't using this build, I don't think I'd be able to do it on Lethal. I'm not kidding. This game is so much harder than Tsushima, and everyone that was coming into the streams was saying the same thing. So yeah, this game is tough. I recently completed Tsushima on Lethal and platinumed it. The video's in on the channel if you want to go watch it. Again, that was for the first time, and I died 350 times, I think, on that playthrough. But on this playthrough, I died 739 times throughout the story, which is insane. I've never died that much in a video game before in my life. There's a few TikTok videos that are posted at Barry Talent, if you want to go watch them, of me getting slapped up repeatedly, if I'm if I'm honest. But yeah, go get this build, man. That's the easiest thing I can just go get it. The armor is unbelievable. In terms of how to get it, once you get to this area, there'll be like a yellow flower around about here. If you go to this point in the map, complete the quest. And again, if you're doing it on Lethal, the geezer you fight is hard. And that's why going to these locations first will help you with this fight. Especially getting the weapon here and the weapon here. So you can go into this area with the katana, the dual katana, the adachi, and the spinny weapon thing. So you can go into this area with 4 weapons. I went in there with 2, which was a big mistake. But yeah, that's the build. I hope it helps. Again, throughout the streams, I was asked quite often what I was using. This is the build that got me through it. Now, obviously, if you're playing it on normal or easy, then the build, I guess, it will work for you, obviously. But you could use pretty much any armor, and you'll be fine. This armor is perfect for Lethal difficulty. There's not a lot of stealth in this game. There's a little teeny bit, but having this armor has saved me massively, because I went from this armor to the Bounty Hunter Master to test it, and the window of opportunity for parries is majorly increased with this armor if the weapon aligns. So yeah, weapon alignment is key in this game and for this build. I hope this helps in some way, because again, Lethal is not kind in any way, shape or form. I've completed hard games like Tsushima on Lethal, I've completed Elden Ring, I've completed The Witcher on Death March, I've completed God of War Ragnarok on Give Me God of War, whatever the difficulty is. This trumps all of them. The bosses in this game are on crack, I swear. Like, some of the moves they were whipping out, I was like, oh my absolute sweet lord, what on earth? But yeah, I mean, the game itself is unbelievable. It's trumps above the first one. I think Atsu is a really good character. I like that the ending is set in stone. I think the twists and turns in the game are good. A lot of what I've seen is, oh, it's the same story. Yeah, it can be the same story, but how it's told is different, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think this is by far probably one of my favourite revenge stories there is. I think the way it's told is good. I think the voice acting is good. We played it in Japanese, and just read the subtitles because again, I feel like it just sounds. I mean, I like the language. It sounds nice to me. But yeah, on that note, we are done with Yotei now. We got the platinum. We ended with I think the only correct trophy there is. Again, if you want to go watch that, there's a video on TikTok at Barry Talent of said platinum popping, and that was that was a really good way to end the game for me. I really enjoyed that last trophy, and it was in this area down here. So again, lethal. That reminds me actually, lethal difficulty. I would strongly suggest coming down as soon as this bit opens up. Come here straight away. Come here straight away, if you're able to. As soon as this bit opens, go down here. You will thank me later. Again, the more moves, the more techniques you can get, the better. That also, again, I know I'm going on here, but that also brings me to something else. So, with the dual katana, they had a really cool... yeah, here we go. So this skill saved... This was so useful. This was unbelievably useful throughout my playthrough, once I unlocked it. So as soon as you get the dual katanas, I would really focus on just upgrading it to this bit, because there's a lot of bosses in the game that use these pole arms, and there's a lot of enemies with pole arms in general. So essentially what it means is that you can just, when they go to attack with a blue attack, you can just parry them immediately. Like, so when bosses equip this, you can just spam heavy. As long as you're aiming at them, you'll be absolutely fine. So I would strongly recommend getting that skill point as one of the first protocols as soon as you get the dual katanas. Massive, massive help. Big help. But yeah, other than that, that's Yotei done. 9 out of 10 for me. Main issues really were the wind. It just gets on my nerves, especially when you're trying to clean up for the platinum. It's very difficult to do that with the wind, especially with this map. Like travelling from area to area. But yeah, other than that, my only other issue is that the game doesn't, especially on lethal, it doesn't give you the best course of action in terms of what missions to play first. I feel like on lethal it should give you that, so you have the best chance. Because there's a lot of times where I do the most difficult stuff, and then I'd then go do other stuff and be like, oh, I wish it, like, especially story stuff. Like I say, I went here first, and I wish it said, you know, you're playing on lethal, you're going to have a really difficult time doing this, are you sure? We recommend going here. I feel like that would have made my life and a lot of other people's lives a lot easier. Yeah, those are my only two critiques. That's why it's, you know, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 game for me. I can't really, I'm teetering, you know, between the two. But yeah, absolutely unreal game. Better than the first one. I like the combat changes. But yeah, we're done with Yotei. We're currently playing through The Last of Us Part 1 for the very first time. We're probably going to complete that today. So when this video goes out, we'll be live streaming. So if you want to come and watch it, you're more than welcome to do so. I'd appreciate that. We'll then be playing The Last of Us Part 2 as well. I've got that downloaded and ready to go. I've never played either game before. So we're experiencing it for the first time. And I've cried 3 times so far, which is unbelievable. But yeah, I hope this build helps. I know it, once I got into the rhythm of things and had this build, I knew I was okay. Obviously, there were still times where I'd get slapped up, etc. But yeah, final tips: prepare for every mission. Rest at a camp. Make sure you've got sake on you. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Make sure you've consumables like your dust throwing, the kunai, and the even the smoke bombs. and the Oni's Flame. Make sure you've got all them ready, because they're going to be a massive, massive help to you when you're in those boss fights. Because again, you can use them instead of countering if you really want. You can use them instead of dodging. You know, you can use them to interrupt their attacks and then go on the attack. So yeah, I would strongly suggest those. But yeah, other than that, thank you very much for watching. I hope it does help. I will catch you later, hopefully on the live streams. But much love, God bless, and peace.